Howdy, I'm Matt, and I'm pretty good at getting big things into small holes. However, working on this Ranger 1600, one of the toughest gigs I've ever had, and you're going to find out why after this intro. Now,
Andy loves man!
that is the wheel of doom! Oh! What the f have you done? Whoa! Get out!
It's not going to work!
To see here. I'm having a cup of coffee. I kid you not, it was really hard. I've had to pull every trick out of the bag to get the wiring inside of this model. Now, before we go any further, I'm going to have a sip. Blooming hell, that's hot. If you're just going to fly this with no flight controller in it, it's an absolute doddle. Because all you're going to do is, all the wires are up here in the front, you've even got the wires hanging out the back for you, you're just going to connect it up and you're going to chuck it around the sky and you are going to really enjoy it. I think that's the basic summary here. However, if you want to put a flight controller in there, those of you which have done it before, thumbs up. It has been a really, really tough struggle here to get an Eagle Tree Vector in here, and the reason for that, and again, to do it properly, I hasten to add, because you'll notice that I've got the GPS unit further down the back because I'm following the diamond approach, something which we'll touch on in just a moment. And I've got the video transmitter out on the right wing and I've got the receiver on the left wing. And which I've just realised I did it the wrong way round. Hey ho. Whatever. Anyway. Getting that vector, can you see that up inside of there? You would not believe that it's probably taken me the best part of 3 hours to do, I'm going to say a minimum of 3 hours, to do, and I mean this, a good job, okay? Because you cannot, you'll see there's some screw holes down the side, don't fool yourself, it's sealed on the top. So you're having to work over the top and then down, so over the top and then down in here, because you don't want, well, you're trying to keep away from wires being in the holes, and you need to go down. Of course, then you need to fish it out here as well. And in my instance, can you just imagine what challenge I had getting a wire from here up to the front of here, which is the front of the Vector, and then the other wire, which, because you need to do that for the crossfire kit, then I've got another, the BST wire going up here, stopping here, coming out, which is one of those 3 sets of wires there, then going on, because tucked up just inside of there, if I can fish it out, is a S-bus to PWM converter, so that the 3 extra wires, so I've got normal S-bus and power 5 volts and ground going out to the wing for the receiver, but I've also got another 3 wires. One is S-bus, being duplicated on channel 4 of the receiver, which we'll take a look at the moment. But then I've also got, you've got the BST, the TX and RX wires running out to the wing as well, so that the crossfire talks properly to the Vector. So yeah, bit of a challenge. Of course, that needs to be on the last leg. So that basically for the wires for the GPS unit, they go out to there, then they come back, and then they come out, pop out here, and then they go out to the wing as well. We'll take a quick look at the wings I have. You will notice that they're nice and shiny. And I'd also like to thank those of you out there. I posted a picture on Instagram. I'll put a link to it in the video description, saying, oh, look at this, it looks really cool. I put the stickers on. And the amount of you which thought I stuffed it. Anyway, I did find that very bemusing. You'll see what I've been and done here. So we have the servo wire, which was pre-installed, and the servo was pre-installed. And then we've got two extra sets of wires here. We've got white, red and black, which is 5 volts ground and S-bus, so that goes straight off to the vector. And then these 3 extra wires which I've got here, which are orange, red and brown, orange, red and brown, which is a little bit confusing with the red one, is actually TX-RX, which goes out to the BST connector in the receiver over here. And we've also got S-bus duplicated, and the reason why we have S-bus duplicated is because we have S-bus going to the vector, and because the vector doesn't have any auxiliary outs which we can use sensibly, is that I've got an S-bus to PWM converter in there, which I've got a separate video on that's coming out in the next day or two, and I'll explain more about that and the use cases for it. Anyway, getting back to my topic, so I've got a separate S-bus coming out, and the reason why I've got a separate S-bus is because I don't like having a failure point going to the vector. The vector is the most important piece of this, and for the sake of running an extra wire down the wing and then going to the S-bus to PWM converter, that makes the most sense to me. Anyway, I'll explain about the S-bus to PWM converter in a separate video. We've got the receiver out in the wing, bottom mounted, so it keeps our top as pretty as possible. You'll notice that you might see a difference in colour just there, and the reason why there's a difference in colour just there is because the receiver has been separated, is not embedded inside the laminate, is that I've sellotaped it down, and the reason for that is just access potential later on. Maybe I decide that I need to want to take the receiver out and put it in another model. It is now as simple as sellotape to take it out and sellotape to put it back in. And of course the breaker board, if I'd fully intended that, I might have put the breaker board underneath sellotape as well, but unfortunately that's sellotaped in. Oh, can you spot the extra addition in here? It's right in the middle of your screen. Kind of a giveaway is just here. There was a few comments about flex in the wings for the Ranger, and I can tell you 2 things. A, I've laminated it, so that would have helped massively, and number 2, I've also run, it was about 1 centimetre deep carbon fibre strip by 1/2 mil all the way along there, and it's really stiffened up this wing. So the combination of an extra carbon fibre strip and also laminating this model has really stiffened up these wings for sure. You may have noticed I've put stickers on it. I'm here up looking at the video screen. You're going to have to take my word for it. That blue which they've used is really nice. I really like it. It's definitely a matte blue. And when have you ever seen me put stickers on a model before? So yeah, I kind of liked it. As you can tell, I went a bit overboard with the stickers. The servos, I've set them up for quite a bit of throw. The control horn came with a hole in the middle. I've kind of decided, again, thanks to everybody in the Rag the Nuts or Facebook group, I've gone for the second down hole on the servo control horn, and I've gone for the second hole down on the aileron surface, and also all the other surfaces as well around the model. Now, we'll take a pause for a moment and go and have a look at the video transmitter wing. So I've got the video transmitter up on the wing. You'll see there's a heatsink on top, and I've got a big cable tie. Now that's a special cable tie because it's a reusable one, so I can unpin it and take it back off again. You'll see that I did it on purpose on its placement so that it's right underneath the carbon fibre strip underneath there. Now I'm sure somebody's going to scream, "Oh, carbon fibre is going to interfere with your video and stuff." Never had an issue. Even models which I've crammed to the nines with carbon fibre, not been an issue at all. So there's another carbon fibre strip, again slightly different placement because I didn't want it to push it right down over here where those cables cross the wooden one, so it just seemed best to go on there. Again, it is wedding tackle grade to say the least. Cables coming down, you'll see that I've just do a flat job there, running out into the wing, and then you'll see that with those extra connectors just there, is that it's blatantly obvious that that's a servo one because it's separated, and because there's a double wire here, that must be for the video. And again, I've done a separate line there for the video to keep, which to be honest, I should have done it the other way around and just ignored the video, but I reused this wire from the XUAV Clouds. Again, laminated on there. Taking a look at the fuselage, really was not very happy with the motor which they provided. Real janky, horrible quality motor. You could just hear the bearings grinding away inside. Absolutely awful. Anyway, we'll start with the tail and then we'll work towards the front on the fuselage. The tail, really again, laminated both surfaces. Putting it together was as simple as 6 screws, 2 screws underneath, 2 screws from that side, 2 screws from that side. Like I said, with the, and again, I just want to point out, because I really do like it, I really do like the point that they went to, which was to, they've put 2 carbon fibre, glass fibre strips down there. You'll also notice how I've been and mounted the servo control horns. If they were the other way up, the chances are they would drag the ground, hence they're miles up out of the way. And again, I've gone for the second hold down on the control horn and the second control horn, second hold down on the control horn at the back. Very simple in the rear. This fuselage though, absolute bloomin' nightmare to work on. That's not giving you any idea of what you've needed to do. Even getting the FPV camera up in the nose down there was a real struggle. I actually elected for some double-sided foam tape, which I've got, which you can see there's a bit sat on there on the top where I used a rod to push that down. But I was having to use I had a long threaded, a long piece of metal, very thin, like servo control horn, push rod, which was say 2 foot long, and that were absolute godsend trying to fish wires down and around and picking wires back out. I had a long bent piece of metal, fishing wires out from in here as well. And yeah, just getting the ESC and the wires, there's an ESC down in there as well, you're gonna have to take my word for it, is actually I've getting a piece of Velcro inside of there, and the ESC is Velcro to the thing as well. The motor definitely turns the right way round. I was a bit paranoid about that. Of course, you have a 50% chance of wiring the motor up so it spins in the correct direction, but we all know that's a 100% chance of getting it completely wrong when it comes to wiring up a motor. So, Sunny Sky 2216 1250 kV, one of the best motors out there. We will be using it with 4S and an 8x6 propeller. The little tie-down straps which they had in the fuselage, don't like them, really fiddly, because that doesn't really flex very well, and that's me really pushing it out. So I've gone for some horizontal pieces of Velcro in the bottom, and cable, and again, where sensible, cable tied wires down, because that, and again with like the wires on the back of it in here as well, yeah, it's just common sense, you know, it's going to be flying in the sky. And there was a few places where I could have cheated, but the thing is, I just couldn't, I wouldn't be able to sleep at night knowing I cut corners. So all the wiring looms which are in here are all custom made now to this model. That's probably why it's taken me so long. I would probably say, in reality, including the laminating, and the wife gave me a bit of a hand with that as well, probably 5 hours into this model already. And again, I want to stress this, I decided that I wanted to put a vector in it. It's nice being late to the party, does that make sense? It's known to be a good model, that's why when it came up on sale, straight in there, like a rabbit, and bought it straight away. Because I knew it was going to be pretty good as well. And again, also from the conversations which I've had, it looks like we can do wing upgrades as well, so that the 2,000 wings, the 2-meter wings, will just plug into the same fuselage as well, because we've got the second hole in the fuselage. In fact, I think Dave's got one of these, so we might do, if the chance comes across us, we'll do a like-for-like comparison, because I'm pretty sure the fuselage is exactly the same. One big negative, which I'd heard from 2 people now, is that I do need to go careful with weight in the front. I may end up having to add lead in the tail to get this to balance, especially with a large 5200 4S pack up in the nose. But we'll see. I don't really like adding lead to a model into a tail. I've never had to do that before, but I kind of knew about that, and I may go on and add an FPV camera up in the tail, but to be honest, I'm so far into this project, I don't really want to do that just yet. And I'd also like to make, and if I'm frankly honest, I'd like to make a second episode later on, because I do have a Runcam Owl Plus, a Runcam Eagle, which I'd like to mount up on the top bay, and I've got an FPV switcher, and I've got some extra wires which I'd like to do as a secondary install. But to be frankly honest, the combination of the challenge of getting this model finished and over the line to being flight worthy, which it is now, and the vector's all set up as well. It was just such a huge challenge. I don't really want to add anything else to it right now, because frankly I've had enough of the build stage. I'm not a big fan of long builds, but in my head I just wanted to get this one right. I have put a bit of Velcro on the top of there, so we can fit a run cam in there so we can get some video footage for you. But to be honest, my plan is just to put that black canopy on the top of there, because I kind of like it with the black canopy. You got to admit, that looks pretty darn cool. I really like it with the canopy, so that's what I'm having on there. Yeah, and that's what I'm sticking to. So the canopy, it's not going to blow off like the under tray. Really not impressed with that at all. But the simple fix is just to wrap an elastic band around it. So there you go, the Ranger 1600. I cannot wait to get this one out and get it flying. Like I said, I'm a good 5 hours into this, which is not been the most enjoyable experience. It really has been a fight to get where we are now. For the wires which we've got coming out here, there's 3 this side, there's 3 that side, and getting it in there to a matte acceptable level has been quite a large challenge. And to be frankly honest, it really does bug me that I don't have a reusable cable tie around that vector. But I think in reality that tray's not going anywhere, that vector's not going anywhere. It's got double layers of Velcro in there, so it's not going to peel off anytime soon. But yeah, secondary opinion on the on this Ranger 1600. I like it. This fuselage is, if I take away the annoyance of putting the cables in there, which is, trust me, really hard to do right now, just finishing the build, is that I do like this fuselage. Really nice. It just feels tough. They have properly not skimped on the plastic building this one. The top motor mount I wasn't that keen on. That's like an ABS plastic which they've put on the top. The screw holes are, if you had to take that motor mount off a couple of times, you're definitely going to wear the threads out in there. Didn't like that too much, if I'm frankly honest. But it's done now. I've swapped the motor over. The only thing which we are missing from this build is a propeller to go on the back, and then it's ready to be thrown. I'm here looking out the window, and yeah, it looks pretty windy out there at the moment, so probably not the best day for doing a maiden of an aircraft, especially one like this, which you really want to get in trimmed in quite well. Few extra mods to do. Has caused a secondary video or episode for you about the PWM to S-Bus converter. We'll have a chit chat about that separately. So yeah, second impressions on the Ranger 1600. I still like it, even after working on it for 5+ hours. There's some definitely good points on there. It's not, if you're gonna, how do I phrase this correctly? If you're looking for a model to put a flight controller in, this is like the worst one I have ever done. The biggest challenge I've ever had of getting a flight controller into a model has been in this model. And I don't think that, well, to be honest, I hope that opinion's gonna disappear, and that big negative gap for trying to cram all that lot in there is going to disappear the second which we throw it. We've had models here before which have been an absolute nightmare to build, and then the second that we've thrown them, they have just been absolute peaches, and I sincerely hope that the Ranger 1600 is one of those. So with that said, we've got Flying Wing weekend coming up this weekend. If you're new here, I'm Matt, welcome aboard. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button underneath this video. Also hit that little bell icon, because the next video could well be the Ranger Maiden. And before I go, one thing which I'd like to say is a massive thank you to you, those of you which have been in the Rag the Nuts off Facebook group, there's a link to that in the video description, who have been passing on tips and suggestions when it comes to this model, because it's been absolutely invaluable. So with that said, for myself, Matt, as always, cheerios!